The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi everybody, welcome to the weekly Noyantis Usergroup meeting. Today is the 17th of June 2019. Myself and John are your hosts. As always, if you've got any queries or questions, ideas, suggestions, then please feel free to raise your hand. We'll get the microphones opened and we'll cover the topic accordingly. Okay, so obviously we're waiting for people to attend and questions and so on. So we will start with updates. So there's been, apologies for no user group webinar last week. We had basically some urgent project issues which just had to be addressed. So apologies for the late cancellation of last week's user group webinar. Okay, so product updates. Literally, as we were just starting this webinar, we've just uploaded a new version of the calendar. So we can see CalendarPro is now 4.1 or 4.10, depending on how you want to read it. But 4.10 has just been made available. Literally, we've not done the announcements. It was as we was literally just starting the webinar. So the data is synchronized up, the installers have just uploaded, so that's available for immediate download. So let's take a quick look at what is in that in the new calendar. Just let me quickly close that, and close a couple of other things off, so I'm in a position to demonstrate. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll quickly cover, there's a couple of updates. One, as I say, the calendar, we're going to cover the Chilkat wrapper, which will go out tomorrow, and we'll also cover DockingPanes, which is done, but is having a bit of a shakedown, for want of a better term. For a bit of we're checking some internals on it because I've noticed some things which help it and some things which I want to address, mainly to do with legacy compatibility. Although one of them is having some positive effects on the ABC chain as well. So a couple of changes afoot, if you will, on the DockingPane. Okie dokie. Let's just prepare ourselves here. So let me have a look at webinars. I'll just create a folder for today and then we can have a look at the calendar. So it won't be 1 second, just going to copy the example in. Sorry about this. Let's close that so we don't get no more notifications. Okie dokie. So the calendar template 4.1. This, as I say, is available now. Go to that. Not that one. So there's sorry, that just thrown me. Okay, so let's have a quick look at the update history. So calendar 4.1. There was a like a fix, if you will, to do with the time status facility. So I think the bug was to do with rounding. If you double clicked on the time at 9 a.m. and you was available up and from 9 a.m. but you weren't available before 9 a.m. the time status could interpret 9 a.m. as still not available instead of available. It was to do with rounding, and that's now been fixed. The actual time status, I'm not sure there's actually any in this example. Probably not actually. Need to update the example application. But basically, should go to any of these. Simple calendar. We look at on the actual prompts, and I think it was the time status colors were basically prompted for in the template. Of course, you can override them as always, but they are now optional fields. If we enable that, they are optional. Means that they can be variable. So the idea behind that is, should you have some kind of global system, you could specify the variable there instead of the template only allowing color entries. But the next biggie, which I promised you in this next build, was a facility to create iCal or ICS files, if you will. And that's if you've ever had a calendar invitation, so maybe in Outlook or Google or something like that, and someone sent you an invitation for a meeting, and you open it and double click it, and it adds itself into your calendar automatically. You now have that facility from within this calendar. So let's just quickly compile. And we're going to add the facility. Oh, that'll be a vast. It's just, I thought we'd had an exception already on this folder. So it will be a second. Thought we'd already done that in the past, to be honest with you. Okay, so be a test that we've tried in the past. Onto the calendar. Lots of demo data. In fact, I'm going to actually get rid of that. I'm sure that's not the example we've used in the past. Sorry about this, everybody. I'd like to start with a fresh example. Get rid of all of those and bring in our default example, the one what you get when we with the template. Try that again, shall we? That's it. Yep. It will take itself from the Clarion 8, I think, version upgrade. So we're going to quickly compile this. So we know exactly where we're starting, and we're just going to add an option for the to create the iCal or ICS file, depending on your terminology of how you want to you want to refer to them. We're going to add it to the simple calendar. This is easy, isn't it? And we might as well add it to the right click. Oh, I meant to go into the calendar extension. So we'll go to our calendar. We'll go across to our right click option. Yeah, that's good. We'll put it on we'll have a separator, and then we'll have we'll call it iCal. Send invite. Now, of course, you would normally want to tie this to maybe some kind of email system. I'm not going to do your email for you, although there are functions available in the other products, but this is just going to show you creating the iCal, and then you would probably send that as an attachment on your email. So we only want it to be enabled when we're on an event. So that's our right click option, iCal. Just going to hook some code in, and then I'll show you how you use the new method. So let's look under the calendar, under the right click, and we happen to know it's option 4, and it returns the true or false of the new method. It's called self. Oh, that's a class. Create event ICS. Okay, and it takes 2 parameters. The first one being the event ID, and the second one being the name the name of the file you want to go and create. So we'll have it as something like, well, we get the event ID, so we can just pass it the event via the right click, and the file name we'll have as long path invite.ics, something like that. And it returns a true or false, so we'll do our job properly. System as with something like invite created. Not very creative there, but you get the idea. I will be updating the example app for this. Something like so. So just to recap, we put it on our right click, and there's our new method, create event ICS. And like I say, some people call them ICS, some people call them iCal. Technically, there is I think internally there is a slight difference whether you put the version 2 in there or not. But if you have it as an ICS, they will be recognised and opened accordingly. So we're going to do that. I'm going to create it. We pass it the event ID that we want to create it for, which happens to be the event that is passed to the right click function. You could get that by get selected event if you ever needed to, so on. And the name of the file that you want to go and create. So we're going to create it in the path invite.ics. And it's that which you would then add as some kind of attachment to one of your emails. Let's have a quick compile of that. Oh my, what have I done? Oh, missed that off to start with, so I'm not going to get fired there. So same example, we will choose that one, register template, send invite, and we've got our invite created. Let's have our folder, which is hopefully here, and we should have a invite.ics, which we have. So if I double click that, and then we can see the ICS register template. It's picked up the date, the 18th, 10 AM, and it's picked up the body. So if we was to, let's just keep that so I can bring it quickly into focus. Let's choose that one, buy templates, and we'll put it on Friday the 21st. Double click that, and we can see buy templates, buy more, and it's put the body in there for you, and so on and so forth. So basically, it creates the file for you. It takes the attributes from the event that's been passed in, so it will pick up the subject, pick up the body. It will pick up the reminders if a reminder is due, specified on it. The location. I mean that example didn't happen to have a location on there, but if the actual loaded event did have a location, that would be picked up automatically, and so would the person. Basically, you can have an organizer. So if you was using multi-schedule, so e.g. something along the lines of this here, Andy Wilton, Dr. D. Freeman, Andrea Smith, so on and so forth, then the organizer would be filled in for you as well, as per basically the properties of the event. So that's really it from the update. Promise you I would get that to you, and that's available now. So that's 4.10. Any questions? Are we happy with that? Hopefully you find it very easy to use. It's just one method call, and then you would really go and pass whatever file as an attachment to your email client. Cool. Okay. Very quiet on questions today, guys. Okay. So next, that's available now, as I say. Next, we'll quickly, we just bring this in, cover what's coming up in the docking panes. As I mentioned, there's some docking pane changes. This was ready to be released last week, if not the week before. But it's currently, as I say, having a bit of a going through some harder testing, if you will, because we've noticed a couple of funnies in a particular application, and I just want to really give that a shakedown. But if I tell you what the actual changes are, so you're aware of them. Let me just open it so I can see what they are here. Okay, so the main one is, for those who aren't aware what docking panes is, let me quickly open it, so then you'll be able to relate to what the actual the change is. Okay, so docking panes are basically panes that way you can give it a piece of content, and then you can let your user rearrange the panes should you want to. So let's attach that onto there, or maybe pick that up and put it to the left of that, and pick that up and put it to the right of that, and so on. So all wonderful weird toys that you can give your users, and yeah, that's docking panes. Okay, now one of the things you can do is the piece of content can be Clarion browse procedure, well, not browse, Clarion windows, Clarion procedures. So now again, because they just basically adhere to the rule that one pane can have one piece of content. So these are the docking panes, and it's here where we've got some changes. So if we look, what you'll have noticed is we've got this Clarion child windows, and on here we've got a docking pane container, if you will. That's here. It specifies what the panes are that we're using. Great, no problem with that. But as well as that, you'll notice this content management extension gets added to your windows automatically. So if we go to the window browse, here it is. This would be normally just a straightforward Clarion window with a browse and some buttons and so on and so forth. Got our content management extension automatically added. A few weeks ago we enhanced this by adding an extra parameter. I'm just trying to see if that should be in this. Yeah, this was one of the things which we did during the webinar a couple of weeks ago, for those who remember. So you can actually pass it a filter of what pane ID you want it to become content of, and we already have what thread number do you want to be basically the content of. So the new change is all to do with this, the class of this. And in the past, the class was created, but none of the methods were derivable, which meant really you couldn't put any embed code in to the generated methods, which I'll just show you from a source point of view one of the ramifications of the new change. One of the methods would be window opened. So we can see here that of event open window, it would call window opened. But you can't embed any code after that. So what are the ramifications of that from the old to the new? And let's go into this particular example. Now I've got the application where this was using opens a few basically windows, Clarion windows, and each one of those contains some report controls and some other controls for filtering and so on, like browsers, if you will. But there were report controls which can contain quite a lot of data. And what I didn't want to do, imagine if you will, the first one opening, having to load all its data. Once that's ready, then it would pass a message to the second one to say, okay, now open yourself. Again, loading quite a bit of data. So the initialization, I was seeing a bit of a slowdown during the initialization of the this particular window. It was technically a bit like a dashboard type window, if you will. And we were seeing a slowdown of the initialization, basically due to the content of those windows. And there was no way around it because I needed basically to initialize the contents, and it needed to tell its parent manager, if you will, that it was opened, right, and go on to open the next window. And with there not being no, sorry, let me just, you see that's right on cue. That's one of the things I'm looking at. With there being no embed point after that, we couldn't control how fast the window was initializing. So what you've done now, long story short, is we've given you the extension class, but we've given you all the hook points as you would have normally. There's a few less than normal because obviously you wouldn't have things like initialize the OCX. It's just a regular window. There is no OCX to initialize. And there are, I think, a few others, all related to the OCX commands. And because there's no OCX, it's just a regular window, you don't get those methods. Kind of common sense, really. But what you do get here is that method which you saw, you get the derivable embed points. Meaning, going back to my example a minute ago, I've got my dashboard type window. It's opened 3 or 4 panes, each containing quite a lot of detailed information. But I can put off that loading until this embed point here, the window's opened. Meaning I have my 4 child windows, each one, apart from just opening the window, initializing the base, whatever content they are, could be a Clarion browse, could be a report control, could be a chart, anything you like. But basically it can initialize but not load all of the data. Then in this embed point, I would put my loading of the data, which means I get the best of both worlds. From that run again, I would get the windows opened immediately or as fast as they can, depending on the content on them, but not all the data loaded. So I get all of the panes loaded containing the initialized window pane contents, and then the data is loaded afterwards. So it gives you the best of both worlds. And without the new derived class, you wouldn't have had that kind of functionality. So if any questions on that, I think I might have babbled and confused a few people actually on that. So any questions? Does that make sense? No? So far so good. Okay. So that's basically the change on that. There is a bug fix regarded to closing of child windows. So that bug fix is in there. And just trying to see, there's a child window pane contents. Basically to do with gaining focus. So the actual note I've got is child windows that are used as pane contents now receive a notification of notify 006 gain focus when the pane is activated / brought back into focus. So should you need to know that you've gone elsewhere and then come back to this pane, the actual content window would receive an event notification of that. So you've got other places. It might be you want to refresh. You brought it back into focus and you want to refresh the content accordingly. Maybe a calendar and you want to refresh the appointments, that type of thing. So that's the next update to the DockingPane, but it's not released yet. It will be very shortly. So as I say, it's just in some tests, some further tests than normal, and that's really it for the DockingPane. No questions. So far, so good. So last but not least is any question, John? No. Sorry, I thought I heard something in the headset.
No problem. Nope.
Nope, that's okay. But that's not a bad the DockingPane one for yourself. I know for your dashboard, I would recommend you switching to using that functionality. So you've got the panes loading visually, opening faster, and then put your content on it afterwards.
So do I need to make any change to do that, or is this just like an automatic thing?
You would have to do a change because currently I'm guessing if you've got, say, your chart and you're loading some data, you've probably got your loading data in maybe the window open or the window init, that kind of thing, where you're going finding the content and then populating a chart. Or I know you use some charting, so I'm using that as an example.
Right.
Well, personally, I would load that data in that embed point, window opened.
Okay.
And what that would do is when it's running, as I say, we'll just go into here. We have to imagine now. We have to imagine that's a chart, and you're going to find various pieces of data, and that's a chart again, loading different criteria, different data, and so on and so forth. And currently, you would be doing that, initializing the chart, but finding all the data and painting it prior to it returning back to the manager to say, now open your next one, and now open your next one, and now open your next one, and so on. So you're visually opening of the panes is slightly delayed depending on the content, what's on there. Whereas what you would get by moving to the window opened embed point is you would get all the panes visually opening, one after another. So it's quite quick, 1, 2, 3, so on and so forth. Then you would see your data appearing in the different panes.
Right. Okay.
So it would be a slightly better visually.
Right.
I think it would look better. You get your panes opened, initialized, repositioned, and all the usual stuff what goes with that. Not almost immediately, but faster than they are now. And then you load your data once they're opened.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, you didn't. The main bug of all this was we didn't have an embed point prior, which was after not only the window opened, but after the window had opened and it had told the DockingPane manager itself that it had opened. You never had that embed point. So to create that embed point, I could have just fixed it and just created you a fixed embed point, but that's not how any of our other products work. They all work by going to the class and going to the methods. So I wanted it to fall in line with the others. And besides which, it does give you a lot more embed points where you can place code.
Yeah. Looks good.
So that's one which I needed, but I did have yourself at the back of my mind because I knew it would come in handy for yourself. So there you go.
Awesome. Thank you.
And then last but not least is the there's two. One, there's a Chilkat wrapper. The Chilkat wrapper has got more changes. I'm trying to think what's in it, to be honest, the truth. Just see if that's out on release. Won't be 1 second. Just trying to find where we're actually up to on the Chilkat. Yeah, okay, so the Chilkat wrapper will go out realistically probably tomorrow morning. Not going to make it tonight, but I want the calendar, as I said, the calendar with the new ICS creation, that's out there now. So download the latest as of 33 minutes ago. And the Chilkat will go out tomorrow. And we've got I suppose we can cover them now if you want to see it in action. The DeTrack. John, this was probably might be a subject of an upcoming Friday at some point, if you fancy it.
Yes.
Let me have a quick look. Have I got a Chilkat there? No. I might as well just jump into our latest. Not that one. The app dev examples. So we've got various different more base classes covered. They'll all go out tomorrow, so you'll have even more base classes. We're trying to get this big push to get all of the base classes finished. And for those who don't know what the Chilkat base classes are, there's got to be, 95, 96 of them, something like that. We're getting there. We've covered quite a few. There are all of them. So Atom, off AWS for Amazon or Azure. These are the base classes, and we've covered quite a lot. So another bulk of those will go out tomorrow in the update. There are some new enhancements to both the Zero interface to do with currencies and tax rates and accounts, and there's also some on the QuickBooks. I think we added journal entries. So you've got some QuickBooks enhancements, you've got some Zero accounting enhancements, you've got some enhancements to the HTTP classes what are in there, but you've also got a brand new task class. Now, for those who aren't sure what task classes are, let me just quickly run this. Apologies for those who know all this. I'll go as fast as I can. But the idea is, we saw a minute ago, you've got your base classes built of all these, and via that, realistically, there's really not much you can't do on the web to talk to services and APIs and so on. There's really not much you can't do by not using. But so with the combination of those base classes, there's really not much you can't do because they cover everything. So you've got your base classes, but on top of that, we create these task classes. So the idea being that they take a good chunk of the work out for you. Quick example here. Connecting to QuickBooks, we've mentioned it numerous times over, but if we wanted to connect to QuickBooks, you do have to do quite a bit of stuff. Off the top of my head, there's OAuth 1, there's HTTP, there's socket class, there's JSON, there's string builder, there's not PFX, but the Zero class has PFX. So there's quite a lot of base classes which you have to use. And the idea behind the task class is it's a layer over the top of it which does all the work for you. So if anyone's got any ideas where they go, oh, we're looking at this, could we have a task class for it? I'm not saying we'll jump straight on it, but by all means put the task class ideas forward. The bigger we can get the library, the better, in my opinion. So an example of task class is the QuickBooks. So that method there, connect, is just one method call, which will in turn take a lot of the grunt work out. You just call it with now why have I got that? Why have I got that? I've been playing about. 1 second. 72. Just try one of the others. Google. Something tells me I've turned something off here on this. Tut tut tut. Typical of an example, isn't it? RegFree COM. Won't be a sec, guys. Sorry for this. There's no manifest. Just gonna make sure all my settings are correct. I tried this earlier. Oh, register within Windows. Use RegFree COM. Sorry. It was the last time I was playing about with it. If nothing else, I always give you a demonstration of how not to do a demonstration. Okay, should try that again. QuickBooks. Got a connection. Well, it's attempting to get a connection. Just go in via, this is the OAuth 2. Yes, we'll have that data. So that's OAuth 2, you can see in action there, and we've been granted. Thank you very much. The application's picked up on that, and we then can go and issue queries. And of course, it's got a load of stuff built into it. As I mentioned, journal entries is one of the new ones in there with the examples and so on and so forth. Okay, so that is a task class in action. And for another example would be the Google Calendar. One simple method to connect, one simple method to download, and it would be one simple method to update, taking all the grunt hard work out of the comms and the connections and the translation of data. So one of the other things we've just added, which might be of interest to people, is a system called DeTrack. And this is, it's really, I think it's ideally suited for the likes of logistics. So you can basically know if a parcel is out for delivery and where the driver is at any time and so on and so forth. We've got, it has an Apple app. In fact, I will just open it here now. So let me open the DeTrack on my phone. I haven't turned it on yet, so let's just move that out of the way and let's show you the DeTrack app. So basically, I've got an API key, and it works on 3 parts. Collections, so you're sending a driver out to go and collect some stuff. Deliveries, you're going to place some stuff for delivery, and your vehicles. So I'm going to query my vehicles. Got one vehicle, and the last time I was using it was in Rue de Bourget, which is over in France, which is right. So now I'm going to start the application on my phone, which in turn, if I go and re-download, oh, it's not updated theirs yet, but we'll come back to that in a second. And that basically will go and track where I am as per where my phone is. We'll have a look at deliveries. I've got no deliveries out for today, so I'm just going to put one in. And there, I've just put a test one. It's going to go to 4 Burnside Close from whoever. And now on my phone, which is on silent, I shouldn't really put it on silent, I've just got a notification, which unfortunately I can't show anybody, and it says my job list has been updated, which I've just sent a job to my phone. Okay, I'm going to view my job, and it says I've got a job going to 4 Burnside from whoever. So I'm going to take my job. Okay, and I'm going to say I've delivered it, and I shall put my signature in it. So I'm going to capture a dodgy signature, and just to prove it's all live, what time is it? 16:42. So I'm going to write on my phone, terribly, 16:42 AW, and I'll just put my name in for the confirmation delivery, if you will. Okay, so that's done, and I'll even have, there you go. I don't know if anybody ever watches Peaky Blinders, but that's my mug. I switched, John. You noticed I switched from Game of Thrones now. That's yesterday. We're on Peaky Blinders now. So, but that's that. I'm going to say that job has been delivered. So I've captured a signature on the phone, which is your pad or whatever, and it's delivered. So if I go and re-query this, so let's re-download that. I've just some debug, and it's saying yes, it's been delivered. So technically, I should be able to have a look at the POD. So, and oh, there it is. That's the there you go. That was some proof of what was delivered. You just took on the phone, of course. Oh, and there's my email saying it's been delivered. And if we have a look at our signature, then as I just said, I just wrote 1642 AW. So basically, it's a very simple system. Let's bring that back into play. Very simple system for collections and deliveries and so on. And the beauty of it is, obviously, they expect people to have more than one van or courier or delivery agent or whatever, your collection agent. So they charge you. I don't think it's particularly dear for what they're offering, but they charge you per vehicle. But the beauty of it is your first vehicle is free of charge. So their idea is you can trying to think, they don't offer you the test system because they just give you a live system for your first vehicle free of charge, and that is your test system. So there's nothing stopping you signing up, getting a free account, and you can basically see all this in action. We can see it will download you a PDF, and we should be able to open the PDF as we want to here. We can get all the information regarding it. There it was, received by myself, Andy Wilton, with my now cold cup of tea, but you get the idea. So that's a system called DeTrack. And the beauty of it is and you can do, of course, you do the same with collections and vehicles. The beauty of that is it's a task class. So the methods, just like the others, are for vehicles. I think it's download vehicles. For your collections, it's download collections. For your deliveries, it's download deliveries. It's all nice and simple, just as per the other task classes. So if you've got any requirements for things like that, you've got a DeTrack. And I know I think the people who do DeTrack also do another system. I think it's called Elastic Route, and that's coming your way soon. I think it's called Elastic Route. Let me just have a quick look. Elastic Route. Yeah, and the idea behind that is you give it your number of collections or deliveries or whatever, and it will basically do your route planning for you. Now, I don't know too much about this. I've not looked into it too much, but that's another option which will be coming your way via a task class, shortly. Won't say when, but shortly. So, any questions on that or DeTrack?
I've been doing both of those.
Very good. Did you use the task class? I hope you used the task class.
On the first one, I did, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you want to use the Elastic Route because that's not there yet.
No, I had to do that one myself.
Yep. So, you can pass your code to me then.
I could. And now I'm waiting on. Yeah, because they actually had some bugs that I reported, and then they fixed them.
Right. Well, the next question was, what's your feedback on it? I needed it for a project and it's been done, but I was going to say, what's your feedback on that?
I'm using it for the routing. I think it does a pretty nice job. It'll do multiple vehicle routing and different times from different warehouses and things like that. So you tell it what vehicles you've got and where they originate from, and depots, they call them depots.
Yes,
so you assign a vehicle to a depot, right, and then it'll dispatch things. You just tell it which depot you want it to come out of or which van, and it'll figure it all out.
Cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So that's another nice upgrade for Chilkat, and that's coming. That will be tomorrow morning. Really, no reason why that can't be tomorrow morning. So
see, I'm waiting for Easy Post. See, I've already got this all done, so need to move on to Easy Post.
Do you know, actually, the Easy Post will. Oh, I just found my tea. It's not actually cold. My Easy Post. The Easy Post actually will be before the Elastic Routing because.
Good.
Yeah, because we actually did Easy Post in our training, if you remember. But we used it.
Yeah.
We used the examples for raw examples. But no, that will be fully wrapped. And that, if anyone's keep going to the API docs. But this is the next one, which won't be too long because the work's already actually been done, so it really won't be long. But the idea behind this, I like it. I've got to admit, I like this a lot. You can sign up. You can then basically query a parcel. So you've got a parcel, or maybe you've got a group of parcels, and they call a group a shipment. So, and they can be different sizes. So, you've got a shipment of parcels, 2 small boxes, 1 large box, that type of thing. But you can basically you can query the rates, and it will go off and query basically compatible couriers, if you will, logistics companies. Now, if we have a look, you look at the carriers. That's a better name, the carriers. Various different countries. So these cover so many different countries, and the beauty of it is what you can do in their account area is if you've basically, let's say, for example, you've got an account with DHL and you've negotiated some special prices and some special rates with DHL just for yourself for your account. You can put all that, not all your rates, you can just put your account details into their portal, and when you query prices, you'll get your negotiated prices, so you don't even have to worry about losing out on any of the existing prices, if you will. You're still going to get them, but these do all the querying for you. So if you had an account with DHL and FedEx, and I'm just choosing some APC, and you said, okay, I've got a box I need to send or 2 boxes I need to send, you query the EasyPost interface, and it comes back and it says DHL can do that for so many dollars tomorrow, or so many dollars on next day, or the 3-day service, and FedEx can do it for this price, APC will do it for this price, and all of that is free. All the querying is free of charge, and if you purchase it, so you say place, and you can place the order via the interface, then I think it's something like 1 cent per label, and your label is literally your PDF label. You're gonna print it out and stick it on your box, and that's it. Your box is sealed, your label's on it. You can even include if it's going international, your customs declarations and so on, and you're done. Somebody comes and picks up your parcel and goes off and delivers it. And I think the price is something like 1 cent per label that you print off. So for me, it's a bit of a no-brainer because you get so much power added to your application for next to no work. So that's that. And I'm not affiliated with any of these before anyone thinks I'm blatantly trying to plug them. I just think they're really good services. You do get a lot of power added to your app. Relatively easy. Okay. Do you know, I'm trying to think, have we had any questions? Pete, thanks for the update, Andy. That nasty error seems to have gone. Oh, yes, cool. I think you're on about the closing. So yes, basically that's where we're up to. Any other questions? Looks like we're going to do a whole webinar without a question. So because I've brought you new toys and new updates, hopefully that's appeased people. No? Wow. Okay. Could be on for an early finish here. Any other questions? No?
I have a situation, but I'm going to look into a little bit more, I think.
Sounds ominous. Okay.
I don't know if it's ominous, but it's the when I have a tree in the report control, and this is in scripted, and when I drop it down, I look for an event. The event's not coming through anymore, and I don't know why. I looked in your example though, and it is coming through in the example. So I was going to compare code first, I think, before I asked you to.
Well, are you listening? Is it a particular event?
Yeah, I was looking for the expanded event. I think let me see what the name of it is. It's like it'll see the mouse down, and then the events kind of stop coming through. I don't know why. I recompiled it after a while, and then it stopped working. Then I said, oh wait, the event's not coming through.
Well, are you using the RegFree COM? Or are you using registered?
RegFree.
RegFree, okay, that's fine. The only thing I would say there is, and this is a good tip for anybody else, basically, who's new to it, is if you're not using RegFree COM and using register within Windows, say if you're using, say, Kojak 18.5, and all your events are triggering and coming back to you, then you register 18.6 and you don't want to use it, hypothetically. So 18.6 was the last registered within Windows, but you're using 18.5, which is still registered, but it wasn't the last one what was registered. Then basically the thing you've got to watch for is events will stop triggering. So that's why if you can use, well, either always ensure that the last you one using is the last one registered. If it's not RegFree COM, if you RegFree COM, it automatically is the last one registered because it's just done it on the way in.
So what if it's registered and you're using RegFree COM?
Yeah, RegFree COM should it will override it.
Okay.
Yeah, because I've got lots registered on here, but I use RegFree COM, except for the example with Chilkat what caught me out earlier. But I think that was me demonstrating to somebody.
Interesting. Yeah, it seems to show me mouse down, but I'm not getting the row expanded for some reason. So I don't know. I'll poke around in.
Well, just check in the events. I'm just looking down to row expanded.
I don't get. It's like I don't get any events after the mouse down.
Row expanded is just, and it'll pass you. Now that row will be the object, of course, but it will pass you the row. Okay. After the mouse down, you don't get no events.
I get. Let me see. I do get a few, and then it's like after I click the expand the tree, then I stop getting events. No, I don't
know. There are things we do specially for mouse down to do with the report control and the calendar for that matter. I better check I'm not stopping it. After
it's working in your example. It's working in your example just fine. I get row expanded. I get everything.
You're not setting. There's a very dangerous property which is basically stops the OCX callbacks. You're not setting that under condition anywhere, are you?
I hope not. I don't think I am.
So it is called. Crikey, you're going to test me now. Let me open this. I'll bring it into play. It will be under the equates. S.OCX event. No. Not in there, sorry, I meant to be in common. In the event func. I mean, you'd have to go out of your way to block it, but it would be. Can't actually see it. No, okay. It's not there. Oh, yeah, of course it's down here. So it's not the. Process callback events. That's not been turned off, has it?
No.
I mean, you'd have to go out of your way because.
I would, and I would never. I try not to go out of my way.
There are conditions where you would want to do it, to be honest, but they are by far the exception to the rule.
Yeah, I'm not doing anything with that in the code here. But I compiled your example using the same version of Clarion and same classes and everything, and that works. But something in my app is stopping it.
Like I say, the only things I can think of are the age-old. RegFree COM put all this to bed a long time ago, but the age old. My events have just stopped triggering, but you don't actually see other functions stop working as well because I have to listen for events, and like the row selected and the row accepted only work by triggers of events and so on. So you see everything stop working if the OCX had got out of sync, which used to be, like I said, it's not for a long time now, but that can still be for the old ones, the Clarion 6 users and Clarion 8 users, that can still be an issue. Or you've gone and actually turned off the processing of the callback events. When that turned off, then the clue's in the name, it won't process callback events.
Yeah, right. I just double checked. I'm definitely on RegFree COM, and I'm on 18.4. I didn't know what the demo was on.
Well, I tell you what, as a test, just re-register that at the command line and see if it. I mean, that really won't be the case, but just test it, just in case you're not on RegFree COM, but you think you are.
So unregister that control.
Well, re-register it. You don't have to unregister, just re-register it. The scenario used to be, just to scare everybody, but this doesn't happen anymore. But the scenario used to be, you're using, let's say, the report control. You're using 18.4, brilliant, all working. You install somebody else's software, could be anything, and they happen to also use report control, but they're using 18.3 or 16.2, or it doesn't really matter. They're using a different version, so their installer comes along and they register that. Now all of a sudden yours is registered within Windows, so it will initialize and look like it's working, but it won't get the callback events because another application has gone and registered a different version after you registered yours. That used to be a scenario which used to catch the users out. But as I say, with RegFree COM, that's just not the case anymore because it uses a version that it's just initialized itself.
Okay, I will give that a try.
Okie dokie. And Scott's a newish user. Scott. Let's open the microphone. Hi, Scott.
No mic.
No mic. Oh, well, I always like to put people on the spot. Do you know, as prizes for DEF CON this year, I might just get some headsets for everybody.
Aha.
Well, Scott, you come to the right place. This is the perfect place if you've ever got any questions. And we literally can go from covering the very, very basics, which don't do any harm, to recap, i.e. I just mentioned a minute ago about some of the Clarion 6 and Clarion 8 users, which scenarios where they can get caught out. So you definitely come to the right place. So no further questions, just knowledge.
Hi, Andy. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, I can.
Excellent. I picked up a new headphones just so I could be able to chat through Skype.
Oh, okay.
I guess I don't have anything specific for newbie questions. I was trying to put the suite that we picked up last week into some products.
Yep.
I'm still just working through it. I get confused as whether we should, it's registered, not registered. We should register CodeJack or whatever we're doing. I want to make things as simple as possible and not have issues when we employ things onto the client site and stuff, right?
We'll quickly cover it. And one of the things I am going to do, I've done it for a particular client, is just done a series, and this is everyone will be interested in these. I've done a series of videos for a particular client to do with configuring stuff, and I just did some screencast recordings, and they've gone down brilliant, as you would expect. So I'm going to actually create, rather than a load of how-to manuals and so on, I'm going to create a series of videos, or I might get Wendy to talk over them rather than me, to be honest. But a series of videos just covering certain topics. So they'll only be a few minutes, but they'll cover how do you best distribute your application, how do you add the global extension, that type of thing.
Great.
So, but for your knowledge here, and we use this Chilkat one. Okay, it's a perfect example.
Okay.
It doesn't matter if it's Chilkat, command bars, ribbon bar, all the things, they're all the same. So your best way of shipping your application is go on to where you select your manifest, application manifest, and I'm just going to have generate manifest on, but I'm not going to link it in, just so I can show you what happens. So generate the manifest, go to your global extension of the desired product. So we're doing Chilkat, but it could be command bars or calendar. Go to register and choose the RegFree COM solution, current directory. So you really only have to be, currently it only supports current directory, so definitely choose those two.
So if we're using RegFree, then we wouldn't have to register Kojak, for example.
No, that's the thing. The control won't have to be registered. It could be run as a guest user on an end user's machine.
Okay.
It could be a USB pen drive. It's that kind of thing.
Right. And if it is registered, would that cause an issue?
No.
Okay. Thank you.
So you use RegFree COM, current directory, choose a predefined version. So we always specify this, we always offer a specify version, but for RegFree COM, always use one of the predefined versions. So in the code docs, you'll see the 1860, 1850, 18.4 odd, 16.3.1, that type of thing. And last but not least, I'm not going to click on it here, but go into your ActiveX license, compile license into app, and click the enter validate code and follow the instructions. And it will be basically enter your license code into that.
Right, understood.
Yep, that will compile your license in. That will tell your application to use RegFree COM. And when you compile, hence I've said don't include, compile the manifest in. When you compile, you will get, let's just go to our example. You will have your control. So there's the control. Yours will be Kojak X3 or Kojak, so on and so forth. Command bars, for example. You'll have your application. You'll have the control, and the template will then create you two manifest files. Well, your Clarion will create you one, but we'll modify it, the application, and we will also create you another for the control being used. If you're using multiple controls, let's say calendar and command bars and chart pro, then you'll get 3 extra manifest files: calendar, command bars, chart pro.
Understood.
Manifest, if we quickly look here, that will be modified. And when I say it's modified, it modifies it by putting an additional dependent assembly into your application manifest, telling it that it needs the assembly Chilkat 950 with a build 95072. So your application manifest gets modified with that entry, and the other manifest will be automatically generated for you. If we take a look at that, don't bother about any of this because you don't need to know it. That's what we do for you. All you need to know is it's generated it, and we can see that it matches. So you can see the other dependent assembly said it needed to be the 95072, and there's the 95072. So last but not least, you would ship your EXE, the control, the manifest for your EXE, the manifest for the control. And if you've got multiple controls, there'll be multiple controls, multiple manifests. That's it. That's RegFree COM in a nutshell. And I think the destination OS has to be XP onwards.
Right. Seems simple and straightforward.
Yeah. So, and then it really doesn't matter if it's registered elsewhere on the machine. Chances are it could be. Totally irrelevant. It will still use the one that you're providing.
Excellent.
Common errors is if you forgot to ship a manifest, or you have shipped a manifest but you forgot to ship the control, then you will get what you call a side-by-side initialization error, which is a SXS side-by-side initialization error. So, and they look scary as hell when you see them, and all it means is you forgot a file.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
That's it. Okay, well, I think we are on for an early finish. So that's brilliant. Brilliant for me anyway. I will be trying to start making a conscious effort to attend the Wednesday webinars, the open webinar. So they're open. So try and lend a hand on whatever the content may be there. And of course, you can bring generalised questions like this to the Wednesday webinar, can't you, John? There's no hard and fast rules about stuff like that.
Nope, not at all. You can ask any questions. Sometimes we get net talk questions, even though it's not a net talk webinar. So yeah, if you have any,
I mean, obviously, Noyantis, I encourage to come to this one for obvious reasons. But if you can't make this, then the Wednesday, and I'm going to try and make a more of a conscious effort to do that. Next Monday's user group webinar. I'm tempted. I will let you know on Monday. The only reason I'm very skeptical about it is I am out of the country at the weekend. I return on Monday, but I'm not sure how busy I'll be on the Monday. So let's say I still go ahead. Let's schedule it. Let's thing it. But I might just start it. And if I can't make it, I will make my apologies at that point. I really don't like messing people around. So let's still go for it. But just bear in mind, it might be one which I might have to pull depending on the timings from the weekend, if truth be told. Sorry, it's very vague that, and it's not very good from a planning point of view. But it's just the honest truth of it. But failing that, I'll still be on the Wednesday one anyway, so you're not going to miss much. That's really it. Watch for the updates coming out. Chilkat tomorrow. DockingPane. We'll see how it goes for this week, depending on how the debugging goes and the time to the debugging. And then after that will be, we never mentioned it, but the report control. But the calendar's available now. So I know Scott, like for example, Scott, you've only just purchased, but there is a new calendar build available as of 4 o'clock today, which includes the creation of basically calendar invitations. So for your emails and stuff like that. So, okie dokie. No other questions? We're going to wrap it up early. Cool. Right. See you all Wednesday.
Thanks. Thanks, Andy.
Okie dokie. Cheers, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, bye.